And then there was this one guy, and what he said changed the trajectory of the game.
You could spend 20 minutes on a drawing, post it online, and get a mountain of praise. Or you could spend months or even years working on an indie game, release it, and get ripped apart in the reviews. That's just the nature of the industry. Every frame of an indie game is an expression of these indie developers. All right, hi everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Indie Neighbor. Today I'm sitting down with Nani about his game Mechborn, which is it's a roguelike deck builder, 90s mech anime inspired, ties in with Greek mythology. So go ahead, Nani, introduce yourself.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Super happy to be here.
Thank you.
So yeah, it's roguelike deck builder with a very unique twist, one that I haven't seen it done like we did anywhere.
Yeah,
And so far, the players love it, and I'm super happy. Best work I ever done.
cool. Yeah, I mean, it looks amazing. You guys nailed that 90s. I forget how to say this, kaiju kind of vibe with the mech vibe. It looks like you guys are using like a really cool cell shader style. It's got like a thin black outline. It like really pertains to that. I want to say not like anime, early '90s anime vibe. And it just it's super polished. It looks really great. You mentioned that you guys take this in a different direction. That you guys do something that's really unique. Just then, can you break that down a little bit?
For sure. Before I do that, just thanks for the compliment. But the art is from our pre-alpha demo. We did like a full-on revamp.
Yeah,
So this is like just the tip of the iceberg. Pretty soon, and yeah, like I cannot disclose a specific date, but pretty soon we will uh, be sharing the demo with a full-on revamp of the art, new trailer, all of that. So it's I'm super glad you already like the art because it's going from here to here.
yeah,
This new content it requires a little story. Introduce the name of the studio. We are believers that volume when it comes to testing is essential. There is no way around it. Like solo testing, but especially testing with first-time users, with outsiders, people that you do not know.
yeah,
So in the early days, we did this, and like I picked it up a bunch of random people that already gave reviews to Slay the Spire, Roguebook, and other games, and I just went on Steam. I add them out of the blue. It's like, hey, dude, you want to play my game? I saw you gave a full-on brutal review. Can you do the same for me? And then
mm,
like some people liked it, some people didn't, and then there was this one guy, and what he said changed the trajectory of the game. What he said was, "This is Slay the Spire with Max,"
hmm,
but in a bad way, not in a good way. It's like it's Slay the Spire with a new coat of ink.
yeah,
And then I had to stop production right there, stop development, and I needed to fix that.
yeah,
So I brought in the art director Lucas, and it was a Saturday, and I showed them that sentence. It's like, dude, we cannot proceed if our game is viewed like that. We need to have our own thing. It cannot be that. So that's what we did. We did like, and actually it was super quicker than expected. In one day, in 2 days, we solved it on paper.
Hmm.
In 1 week or maybe two, we already had a prototype going. So now that I gave the context where this came from,
Yeah.
I will tell you regarding the innovation, which we have many innovations, but this is like the main one.
Hmm.
When you play card games in this genre, and actually in the majority of the genres, what happens is that you do not hold your hand. So in Slay the Spire, every time you play your hand, and let's say you have two cards left, when you do end turn, your hand goes away. And then one could argue, yeah, but there are some games that you keep your hand. That's not a big differentiator. I would agree
Hmm.
with that.
Hmm.
But what we do is that you have seven specific slots, and those slots they are positional. It matters where they are. So, for example, we have this one card that is called Enfield, and so let's say the Enfield is here, and what it says is it buffs the adjacent cards. So the cards that are here and here gets +4 damage. So the actually the damage cards, right? Because defense doesn't get damage. So
Hmm.
what you want to do is that you want to when you attack, you want to make it so because every time you play a card, another card comes from the right. So this is the whole innovation is called the conveyor belt mechanic.
Interesting.
So every time you play, another card comes to the right. So now we have added this new dimension because you have the battlefield, the monsters that are attacking you, the
Hmm.
intent, what they will do, and so on. You have your cards. There is stuff that you will be doing, but now we have this third dimension, which is the position of the cards in your hand.
Mm.
And so there is many ways like for example we have these another mechanic which is the pilots that you can mix and match max and pilots.
Hmm.
And so there is this one pilot, Yumi. She has this mechanic called this skill called the warp. So warp can change card positions.
Mm.
So this makes it so that there is a full on depth on how this game is played. It's not like just playing cards brainless. It's like not to throw them under the bus, they were our inspiration. But if you're playing Slay the Spire
Hmm.
and you get two attacks and two defense cards, usually it doesn't really matter the order you play them. It's like pa 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 pa.
Hmm.
And not in our case. In our case, it really matter. It matters the positional and so on. So yeah, that's one of the innovations. That's the biggest one. It's called the conveyor belt mechanic, and it really ties with the mechanical aspects of Max. Max.
Let me see if I can understand. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with Slay the Spire, and I don't play
That's
deck
okay.
builders. Um, you originally choose out your seven cards, and they
No, it
appear.
comes. It
So
comes
okay,
randomly.
okay,
Yeah,
interesting. So you start the game, and your seven cards slide out bottom of the screen.
correct.
Um, as you play them, they get removed, and another one slides over from the right. How and then how does placement and how do you navigate this? Like so when attacks happen, cards that have been on the screen longer they lose more health, and earlier cards stay stronger. Is that what you're implying?
No, 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 no. It's the position of them matters. That there are cards that they have a sole purpose. It's called support cards to change how the game, how the positional games. And I'm gonna give you a very simple example.
Mm-hmm.
There is this one card that says the following: when this card reaches the last position all the other text card energy cost goes
Hmm.
to zero. So let's say that this card has started in the position number six. So the first thing you are going to do is play whatever you have on position seven, so this card can reach position seven and
Interesting.
decrease the cost of other cards. So and then there is cards that are not even support cards, like regular attack cards, that they have a condition in them. If in the first position, it does double damage. It
Hmm.
does seven damage, but if it's in the first position, it does double damage. So
Hmm.
instead of seven, we'll do 14, and maybe use the pilot skill to place that right there, and so on. So there is a lot of thinking on where they are when you play them.
Cool. Um, how how does this affect game balancing? When you guys introduced this, did did it open up like a lot of imbalance? A lot of games were way too easy, or certain games like were impossible at this point. Did you have to rebalance and really think about that?
Yes, definitely. And actually, the for me the biggest challenge, it wasn't even balancing uh, because of that, but rather how taxing it is in the mind of the player.
Hmm.
Because since it's a new dimension, you need to be invested, in order to make it so. But at the same time, we don't want this to take the player like out of the flow, right? I don't want him to be playing chess one match after the other.
Hmm.
So the balance comes from make it so that the game is compelling enough so you have these eureka moments, but at the same time we are not destroying bone after bone to
Yeah.
the player. So it's that, and of course, and being a card game that each character has over 100 cards is
Hmm.
a challenge by itself.
Yeah.
And but that didn't make things easier, that's for sure.
I think that you're working with as a team of like five, or is it four or five? Um,
23.
three and three. Um,
23.
oh, 23? Oh, I didn't
Yes.
realize. Yeah, you're actually a bigger team. Maybe I was looking at the leads.
The
But
leads, that's
you,
correct. The leads, yes, the
yeah,
leads three. Yeah.
yeah. You personally, this is your vision though, originally, right? Um, you're the lead game designer, and
Yeah.
where did you like your you do you play all deck builders? Like you have like 100, 200 hours in Slay the Spire? Like
I do
how did
know. I
you?
have thousands of hours,
Thousands? Yeah.
thousands of hours in
Where
balance.
did this come from originally? You're playing card games since they've been games, or all the way back into
No,
poker?
no. Yes and no.
Yeah.
I didn't make this because I'm a freak for card games.
Hmm.
But I been playing games since I was a little kid, and I make little distinction to game types. But I did play poker growing up, still play every now and then. Um, but long story short, we did a previous game and it failed miserably. No
Hmm.
publisher wanted anything to do with it. It was a Risk of Rain type of game. You know Risk of Rain?
You
Um,
say Risk of Rain? Is that it?
that's correct. Yes.
I'm not familiar. No.
Yeah, it's a action roguelike, super fun,
Yeah.
and like platformer. They didn't want anything to do with it. I should do my research better. I didn't. So at the time,
Yeah.
it was 2022, 2023. I wasn't aware that in order for you to get a publishing deal with a 2D game, the art needs to be through the roof. You know, like it needs to be like a majestic, amazing art.
Hmm.
So yeah, and we try with them and it didn't work. And what happens that I saw this article from the guy that makes the how to market your game website. I forgot his name, like Chris something. I think that's his name.
Yeah,
And
I know the channel.
yeah, so what he was saying at the time is like, hey man, there's this opportunity here. It's called roguelike deck builders. We only have a few of them. It's not the case nowadays, but back in the day, 3 years
Mhm.
ago, 4 years ago, we only have a few of them, and they are making tons of cash. So
Yeah,
I'm being super transparent, and I had the upper hand because I still love Slay the Spire. I played thousands and thousands of hours.
yeah,
Be- and so I was like, all right, dude, I I can do this. So what we did is that we took the idea from the game that failed. It was called Minicore, and which was this whole idea of synergy between mechs and pilots. We took that and we transferred to Mechborn.
yeah,
So there was that. It wasn't like this urge, this childhood urge to make this card game. No, no, and it was funny because when I told the art director, it's like, hey man, we are swapping genres. And he was thinking like they were doing something close, but then we did
mhm.
something that was completely different. We went from a 2D shooter to a card game.
To deck builder roguelike. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really interesting, and yeah, I can definitely see the trajectory, and I appreciate you. Like I think the viewers like really like it when people are really honest and break down, like, hey, this is why we did this, and and especially like when you put yourself on the table and go like, yeah, our previous game didn't do as well as we had projected. I know Slay the Spire obviously is massive. Um, did you play Balatro as well? Because that's another one
oh
that
yeah,
everybody
oh
brings up.
yeah, oh yeah. I played. I loved it. I in the recent years I played Mobile Latro since Slay the Spire. Actually, we took like one thing or two from Balatro as well.
Hmm.
And yeah, no, I'm a huge fan.
You guys have a world. Is it the same world in Mechborn as your previous game? Like total, like as if you are playing two aspects of the same world, and I really think
Eh,
that one game can benefit the other. Like hopefully this takes off, and then people find your other game and like continue the story. I would imagine you could totally do that, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the main character. The main character
Hmm.
made his way through the other game. It was like we have her. It's a pilot. It's Yumi.
Yeah.
It's not main because none of them were main. They're just like characters like Ryu, Ken, Blanca, Zangief.
Hmm.
One of the characters, one that it was this Canadian Japanese girl. She kept everything, her name, her archetype with eyes and technology. She made the full-on transfer. Some things and others, like some of the monsters, there were tweaks so they could fit better and so on. But I would say that we kept around 40% of maybe a little less, but the whole concept of you being able to mix and match pilots and mechs, which is something that I really liked in this one game called 20 Minutes to Down. It's a game that Vampire Survivor like,
Hmm.
and they have like a bunch of girls and a bunch of weapons, and you can only pick one girl and one weapon. I
Hmm.
just love this concept. It's so clean. It's like, man, I want to do that. Yeah. So now we took that from Minicore, which was the previous game,
Hmm.
and we brought that to Mechborn, and it's still here. As
Interesting.
for moving forward with Minicore, unfortunately, I don't think that will be the case, and here's why. Um, First, because I think that 2D platformers. Uh, Sorry, guys, if you're making a 2D platformer, I
Yeah.
hope you all the best. But I think it's a extremely challenging markets niche nowadays. It's dude, it's super super hard, and I am not rich yet. I
Yeah.
cannot I cannot take on this risk.
Hmm.
And to be fair, now that I'm getting older, like I'm on my 40s,
Hmm.
I don't even find myself playing those games as much no more. This
2D
is one.
platformer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I am playing a game that is somewhat similar, and I want to give them a shout out because I just love it. I was playing before we started. Actually, it's on right there.
Hmm.
It's a Megabunk. Everybody played it, right? It's Megabunk. It's amazing, amazing, and I cannot understand how a single guy did it. Like this blows my mind. Anyhow, so yeah, like the next title, I want to do something that is more financially sound.
I agree. Especially when you've got a big team and a bunch of people, it's not your personal playground anymore. You got to think strategically.
Yes,
Um, so I
yes,
definitely agree with that. I'd like to dig a little bit into this world because, again, I think your artists and your creative team have been building this world for quite a while. So, can you tell me a little bit more about the story? You told me about one of the characters, I think, and then
yes.
let's dive
I
in.
can totally tell you. I'm not as good in lore as an art director is, but
Hmm.
I'll do my best. Okay.
Hmm.
So there are colonies of Earth around the system, and there
Hmm.
is this race. It's called Hyperions. They are like these avatar-looking creatures, like Avatar the movie, like higher than human but very humanoid,
Hmm.
and they are like are almost evolution form, and they are what the Greeks uh, worshipped. And we think of Artemis, Zeus as something mythological, but those were in another planet from a long time ago. They are real, like that really exists, but this link was lost.
Hmm.
And then there is this other race, which the kaiju oriented race. They are all about annihilation and obliteration of the places they go through. And then what happens right now is that there is this one planet that is in the middle of it all. There is this planet that will belong to the Hyperions, and this kaiju race is there. So Titan Core, which is this paramilitary entity from like tons of countries, like countries at this time, they do no longer exist, only like factions. And this in Titan Core is one faction. It's protecting Earth, but also it needed to go to this place in order to save this planet. So that's what you're doing. You are going from continent to continent, which is the three acts of the game, in order to stop the invasion of this other superior race. Yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, I see on one of the screenshots, kind of the overview of the map. You're choosing sections like how does this like progression work?
this is great. This is a great question. So, I keep on making reference to Slay the Spire because it's a great inspiration.
Yeah.
So I'll keep doing that throughout.
Hmm.
So in Slay the Spire, they created, I don't know if they created, but they certainly popularized this node navigation. similar
Hmm.
to what actually FTL I think was the one responsible, similar to FTL. But the way they Slay the Spire did it, it really make everybody do it. Everybody does it like that nowadays. Which
Hmm.
like you start here and then you go here and then it goes here and then and
Interesting.
as we made the combat different, I was like, why stop there? Because people, I don't want to be compared to Slay Spice. Like, oh, this is a ripoff. Then the navigation should be ours as well. And actually, that, believe it or not, doing the navigation was harder than doing the main part, doing the combat. The
Yeah.
combat was like right away, as I told you, like 1 week or two was done.
Hmm.
The navigation took us more than a month, I think.
Hmm.
So basically, you can go in any direction. I'm a huge history fan. Like
Hmm.
I read about history a lot, about Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan. You have it. Whatever you can think of, I already read of. So I love the idea of conquering territories. And I played tons of Rome Total War when I was a child, and so that I think had an impact as well. So I wanted territories,
Yeah.
and that's what we did. We found this concept. It's called the Voronoi formula equation. It's a Russian guy did back in the day.
Hmm.
There is a way for you to create forms, shapes that connects to one another. And then after tons of tweaking, we were able to make it so they looks like a continent. And there is
Cool.
that. And that like and here's the thing, because in Slay the Spire you can only go one direction. You can only go up. But
Hmm.
in our case, you can go up, you can go to the sides, you can explore the whole thing. And that is one thing that I wasn't expecting. I was expecting people to be extremely objective. It's like, oh, the body is there, I go from here to there. That is not the case. There's people that wants to clear the map and almost spend a full on time that from a run he spends in one world because the person wants to clear everything. So that was a very interesting and unexpected reaction from the public.
From the public, meaning like
The
the
testers.
testers. Yeah. Um, ha, you so you got a really positive, like, I want to dive into that a little bit more. Like it was a really positive reaction. The open world feeling of it, is that what you mean?
Yes, 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 yes. And actually, um, I asked three questions at the end of
Hmm.
every live session.
Hmm.
What did you like the least? What made you most confused? And what did you like the most?
Hmm.
And it's very often to hear that what they liked the most was the map.
Interesting. So yeah, so it's you based on this feedback. I really like this story that you have. Like you built, your roguelike deck builder. You get feedback that you've just kind of reskinned Slay the Spire.
Yeah.
You make a dramatic change to the combat system, opens up, people understand the mechanic, but this changes strategy, makes it interesting. It's not just Slay the Spire anymore. But also, there's this big, people who play Slay the Spire are familiar with a map progression, but you have also evolved that, taken it into kind of more of an open world direction,
Yeah.
and you're getting almost more positive feedback based on this open world map,
Yeah.
even than the combat update.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a really
Definitely.
interesting thing. Anybody who is working with any kind of map would be interested to know that your players are really responding well to this. Um,
And if anyone wants to know the in and out on how we did it, just reach us and we tell you. It's not. It's we can tell you the technicality behind it.
yeah, the way. that you needed to create modular tiles and have them work together. Yeah,
Exactly.
it was really cool. Really cool. So one of the things that I like to do with these interviews is I like to talk about the game for a little bit, but also, I imagine you guys have a lot of media, a lot of stuff talking about the game. These interviews are for kind of the developer, so I like to talk about a little bit about you, and
Sure.
where you're coming from, and then we could talk more about the game if we missed anything later. But
Take whatever you want to take it, dude.
yeah, cool. So you had mentioned that you lived in the States for a little while, not far from me. You lived in San Diego, and then
That's
now
correct.
you're living in Brazil. Yeah,
Yes.
you give me a little background on your path, and now you're leading a game, an entire studio in Brazil. Um, how did that all
Yes.
play out?
Awesome. 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 And so I come from the advertisement industry. I have a
Interesting.
major in that. I work years in that.
Hmm.
Um, and first, talking about the US.
Yeah.
I used to live in the US with my family, mother, and I didn't like as much because, when you're young, I was 15, 14, 15. You cannot party hard. I wanted to party hard. My friends were over here in Brazil saying, dude, I'm partying hard. So I want that. So I came back and I left my family behind. And I always loved games, Age of Empires, StarCraft, N64, PlayStation, Atari, Master. Dude, I had it all. Game Boy. Uh,
Hmm.
for the Brazilian landscape, I come from a wealthy family, so I had that all.
Hmm.
And so yes, but I never realized that you could make games. It's not a thing in Brazil. Maybe if I stayed in the US, you'd be different, but in Brazil, it's not a thing. It wasn't a thing, at least in 2003. um, there was, they call people to school, like professionals in different areas, so you can relate. And the only one that was close to me, it was advertisement, because you can use your creativity. So that's where I lean. But not because I loved it. It's just because, there was a little art in editing software, which helps me nowadays for sure.
Hmm.
So but after a while, I was super, super sad. It wasn't fulfilling.
Yeah.
And watching stuff like this, what we are doing right now, it was one of the windows that got me into game dev. And also this book from Robert Greene is called Mastery.
Mm.
And I only need to read, like, the think was the first or second chapter. And basically what he says, like, what you want to do with your life is what you did when you were a kid, when there was no pressure.
Hmm.
That's what you will excel in.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh man, I love to make games, like,
Hmm.
maybe that's the things. So I went on, and first I did a fantasy game, because I love MMA. I'm Brazilian, so I grew up with
Hmm.
my dad. Was slightly unresponsible, and he allowed me to watch MMA since I was 9 years old, 8 years old. So I grew up with it. Royce Gracie, Marcos Ruas, UFC, like early days. So I did a MMA fantasy sport game with a browser, but was my first attempt. It was good. It was extremely well received.
Hmm.
Like when I shut down the servers, there was this doctor here in Brazil that he asked me, how much money do you want to bring it up? Because watching the fight without your game is not as fun. This was 2012. And because it failed, there was a hiatus. Uh, and in 2015, uh, I was already doing Unity. I did this. Small game. We took it to the biggest Northeast show over here in Brazil. It was me and this guy that I met, João, and this lady from the UK, and we won. We won best game
Cool.
this award. We won best art and best design.
Hmm.
And then I was like, oh damn, I think I'm good at this.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, this dude died. He died like months later, and so that was like there's no other way to say it. There was a motherfucker, like, oh my god. And we had this other programmer named Bash.
Hmm.
He's like, hey man, let's do a game jam so we can take that out of the way. And we did a game jam, and it
Hmm.
was London Dare was extremely well received.
Hmm.
Um, and it was the first Brazilian game financed by Humble Bundle. Well, that gem game is called Fluffy Horde. It did extremely well with streamers, like
Hmm.
millions of views when you sum it up, but
Yeah.
financially, not so good.
Yeah.
Anyhow, long story short, I worked in a bunch of companies throughout Spain, China, US,
Hmm.
uh, and but I always had this thing of doing my own things. Like I was there, but I always knew that I needed to go back and do my own thing. And like in 2022, I went back to well, maybe it was 23. No, it was 22. I went back and then started doing mini core. And by the way, actually, during some of that time, I was getting all my salary from working abroad and paying people to make, like this game that had failed and then to make this.
Hmm.
So and when it finally worked, like we got super solid. I just did the leap of faith on one more time. I was like, fuck it. Actually, I got fired. I got
Yeah.
fired. I got fired. I got fired, but I didn't went back to the market to work again.
Hmm.
And I was like, all right, so let me do my best here. And so that's what I did, and I was able to secure the deal with Curve, which, by the way, I love work with them. Like extremely lovely team that they put up for Mechborn. They are like our director, not a producer. A producer plays a game, but our director,
Hmm.
it's a lady. She has 100 hours in our game. Isn't that
Hmm.
crazy? Like I I've been in contact with publishers before, and I haven't seen
Yeah.
this pattern. Not only her, but the whole team. So I'm extremely pleased.
Hmm.
Curve, by the way, is the same one that published For the King and Human Fall Flat. Anyhow, so there is that, and here we are, and I am very happy, dude. I'm living the dream. Hopefully, when Mechborn comes out, it does extremely well, and I'm able to keep making more games.
Yeah. Yeah. You touched on a couple things there I'm interested in. I wonder how your like career in advertising has that played into games, like
Oh
benefited you
yeah.
greatly. I mean, were you heavy on the statistical side of advertising? I mean, you were into
No,
marketing or what?
no. It was always two things: the creativity aspect of it, like
Hmm.
brainstorm sessions, and also the leadership.
Hmm.
I oftentimes found myself in a leadership position, and also there is a third thing with go-getter type of thing, because over here in Brazil, you have to wear many hats. So
Hmm.
so you do the art, you reach the client, you go to the meeting, you talk to the third party, and this whole thing, it made it so that it's second nature to me to lead people, to talk to strangers, to make things happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, yes, of course. Like be driven by data, it's a thing as well because I come the later years of my career in advertisements was in digital,
Hmm.
but where it really helped me, it was the idea of taking charge.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'll say taking charge in the creativity. Those two mixed.
I imagine though that you did have, I mean, throughout the case, like you kind of knew what people would respond to. I mean, I don't think you can imagine working advertising and not start to like understand like how people view marketing, how people view a logo, how people view an advertisement. Like
Yes,
you knew what worked. I mean, you know,
yes.
yeah, you had a
It
sense for that.
develop, it definitely develops your taste. I know like I know a lot of developers that comes from other industries and
Hmm.
they don't have taste.
Hmm.
They know how to code or they are great when it comes to business, but they do like shitty stuff. Like they don't even know how to pair fonts.
Hmm.
So these definitely helped, and funnily enough, the art director also comes from this background,
Hmm.
and which helps a lot. Like he's a graphical designer, but he worked with advertisement as well, and it also help us to be quick,
Hmm.
because there is I I see very often developers being a little bit too artsy,
Yeah.
sometimes we just go, it's like, dude, it's not working, and then he goes, not working, and then we just move on. Like there is no crying, no nothing. Like works, no, it doesn't work. Then we just go to the next one.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely trains your eye. No doubt about
Yeah, that's a really good point. I studied art, and then and I made indie games, and now I've done everything, and like definitely one of the struggles I had when I was working with studios is they didn't clue me into the data, like the physical, like, hey, people aren't responding to this. They come to you and they go, we want to destroy your art just because we're the boss. And I'm like, hey man, that's my art. But if they come to you and they're like, hey, people aren't responding to this. Sorry, it's not my call, but we're not getting the response from it. Then it's like so much more understandable. Um,
it. Yeah.
just cueing people into that. But you don't have to do that, because your art director, he understands. He comes from the same world, and
Yeah.
um, I I yeah, that's really cool. There's another thing that I wanted to kind of dive into with you, which is I haven't done much talk of establishing a publisher or finding a publisher. I want to know if there's any advice you could have the viewers, like what you've learned in that department.
Oh yeah. It, I, I have done these, I don't know, 4 times now.
Hmm.
So I did with Fluffy Horde, then I did with Elderrand, Shadow Sacrament, and Mechborn, and of
Hmm.
course Minicore, which failed. So it's 5 times, four successful and one failed.
Hmm.
And okay, there is a bunch of tips here. The first one is that you need to know this is not a process for you to get money, but rather to you learn.
Hmm.
And eventually you can get the money, but first you need to know that you have to use that as a free consultancy. So do not ever let a no go unpunished. And by that I mean learn why did they didn't give you the money.
Hmm.
There is information behind it. So in
Hmm.
other end, which is a Metroidvania, there was this one publisher that said, we did not sign the contract with you because we jump. And what we did at the time is that we spent nearly 3 weeks perfecting the jump. And there was that. We halted searching for new publishers. It's like, let's solve this jump. And that's what we did. And then we talked to another one. And what they said was, you guys are missing a visual wow moment. And then there was the same thing. We start creating like moments, like we call it oh fuck moments.
Hmm.
There was these moments like when they look at the, this happens right when you see something spectacular. It's like, oh fuck, right?
Hmm.
And that's what we did. It's like all these, we navigated through the games. Like you can place it here and it can be placed here, and then minute five, and then minute eight, and then minute 12. So learn from them and use their knowledge, because those guys, they have decades of knowledge. They're getting game like yours
Hmm.
throughout. And another thing is that these people go around. They're not going anywhere. They're going from one publisher to other. So do not go into some sort of blacklist. Be
Hmm.
nice, be respectful.
Hmm.
Of course, that you don't need to leak no one's boot, but like yeah, like treat them as human beings. If you get a no, it's a part of the deal.
Hmm.
And let me see what else. There will be cases that you know that your product is just not good and it's beyond salvation.
Hmm.
That's that's the brutal reality of things.
Hmm.
Do you the guy who made Braid? I forgot his name. Jonathan Blow.
Hmm.
He did recently. He did a new series, a new edition of Braid,
Hmm.
and he didn't sell anything because it's a game that it's outside of its time, right? It was great back then in 2011,
Hmm.
but nowadays you cannot find one puzzle platformer on the top 100 of Steam. Out guess
Yeah.
top two, maybe you cannot even find one in the top 300.
Hmm.
So you need to understand why you're getting those no's,
Yeah.
and maybe just give up. That is that. And let me see a final thing. Okay, now, especially especially with the war, and people are way more fearful when it comes to investments.
Yeah.
And 2024 being the worst year for video games ever, we haven't come back from it yet. So now publishers, if they were willing to take this amount of risk in the COVID years,
Hmm.
now they are willing to take this amount of risk. So the art, the presentation, if uh, from what I have gathered, it's the biggest source of concern.
Hmm.
The biggest, can you nail the presentation? And being a designer, this was one of the reasons that I failed, because I thought it's like coming with a cool mechanic. People do not care as much unless you're making Poro. You're making Poro again, a new Poro or if you already have traction. But if you're coming with a vertical slice that looks 4 out of 10,
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
you'll be hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see if I could kind of condense this. Like, let's say that you're a single indie game developer, like, and you want to try to get these publishers' attention. It's like, for starters, you're gonna be working for like a year or something. Like you gotta spend time on the art. This thing's got to be presentable.
Yes.
You need to approach them with complete respect and very humble to everything that they say. You need to thank them for any feedback that they give you, and probably beg for feedback. Go, oh, you
Yes.
guys don't
Yes.
like it? Like, please tell me anything you can
Yes.
tell me to change.
Yes.
Um, there's a an oh fuck moment, which I'd like to actually break down with you after this, like get some thoughts on how to establish this. Um, and then you gotta realize when to just completely throw in the towel, or
Yeah.
like it's not working out. Um, but it's not indie games. I when I look at indie games, I think 10 years ago or maybe even 15 years ago, they were like you could do the really basic, pixel art character with almost nothing, or just a basic puzzle game where you're just sliding blocks around. It's like now, I guess probably with all the tools and everything as well that we have nowadays, these indie game developers are making games that look like what AAA was like, 15 years ago. Like I see indie games that look amazing. I mean, your guys' game looks amazing.
Thank you.
Um, you know, uh, so yeah, like it's tough. Like I guess the reality is you got to be in it entirely. Like um, maybe maybe you've got something to add to that, but I do want to get your thoughts on how to establish an oh fuck moment, and then if you want to add,
There is another path that I haven't taken,
yeah.
but I have seen people that took this path and they were extremely successful. And it's a path that almost solves everything. Actually, there's two paths. One of them is making something that is so extraordinary
Mm-hmm.
visually
Mm-hmm.
that they come to you. And I seen this with Shadow Sacrament.
Mm.
We receive, I say we because I help the owner of the studio, Eldritch House, with BizDev.
Mm-hmm.
We receive uh, publisher emails every month to these
Mm.
dates because even though there is a publisher in place, but we haven't disclosed yet,
Mm.
but but it looks very striking. So this is now it has a build on itch.io, but even prior to that, the build is recent. Even prior to that, we kept getting constant invitations from publishers to talk.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is one like solid Steam page, extremely solid Steam page, being part of events. This is one.
Yeah.
Another thing, another path that I haven't mentioned, it's similar to this, but it's creating an audience
Yeah.
before. If there is this game called Code Rabbit, Rapid rather,
Mm-hmm.
it's also a Mac game. I don't think they have a publisher, but this
Mm-hmm.
guy he has a YouTube channel. I think he has a demo out, and there's a lot of buzz surrounding him. And unlike us, I'm not a streamer, and I'm not promoting myself or the game prior like we were in the lab, super dark for the longest time. But there's a lot of people that they even do these building with the community type of development where
Mm-hmm.
they are like sharing the game from day one, like prototype with the community. People are helping in, they are
Mm-hmm.
creating this base. So when you get to the publisher with traction, it's like, hey dude, I already have 3,000 people that are playing my game,
Yeah.
and it showed them the analytics. So these mitigate the risk a lot. And maybe your art is not even quite there yet, but because you already have this audience, there is it's something that is already positive.
Yeah.
Cool. So as for the oh fuck moments,
Hmm.
in that case specifically, it was art oriented. So like the game was, you you guys can look it up. It's called Elderand. It's a good
Hmm.
looking game,
Hmm.
but at the time it was somewhat flat. And the guy said, it's like, dude, you guys need a moment that will wow the streamers, wow the players, and you guys do not have that. So,
Yeah.
and I don't think these apply to every genre. Some genres, it'll be hard for you to extract that, but maybe there are moments, like the golden moments that he needs to do that. Maybe you do that intellectually, or maybe it's from a narrative, maybe it's like a plot twist. I don't know, but you do need those moments that stands out in your vertical slice. You need to be memorable. You need. I took part in judging games in a local festival, and
Interesting.
we received like, I don't know, 200 games, 300 games, and I felt like a publisher, like
Hmm.
feeling games, and they can appreciate themselves because there were games that it was super clear. Like the guy didn't even spend a week making it. It's like, all right, dude, this goes right here.
Hmm.
So yeah, man. Like, put yourself in their shoes. Like, how can you be enticing?
Can I ask you, from something that I think that everybody would know, and you're an expert on, what would be an oh fuck moment from Slay the Spire, for example? If you
Oh,
could
for
say
sure,
something.
for sure. This goes from player to player. It depends on the player
Hmm.
archetype,
Hmm.
the personality of the person. But I can tell you my personal oh fuck moment.
Hmm.
It's when, and I even say this to this day aloud, like when I'm playing it, it's like, there's no way you can stop me now, bitches. I say that. I play by myself. And I say that it's like, when you get to this turning point where you're getting smashed, you're getting smashed, and then you get this item, you get this card, and then it clicks. And
Hmm.
you're like, all right, all right. So now who will be able to stop me? That type of feeling, like that power fantasy. That is my thing.
Hmm.
And but for us in Mechborn, we can fly.
Hmm.
Nobody flies in this genre. Nobody in so in Mechborn, when you fly, it changes the camera. It's super cool. Like, the camera is here, your mech is flying, you're looking at kaiju, and we in the during the live sessions, the first time we did it, people literally say that, like, whoa, like, what is happening here, so this is one of them. When they finally understand how to use the conveyor belt, like, it's also one of them. But as specifically to your question, is Slay the Spire,
Hmm.
it's when I know they're hopeless, like, in I don't know if you watch the boys.
Yeah, I've
There's
seen.
this yeah, there's this one scene when Homelander blasts everybody with his X-ray vision. It's that type of feeling, like,
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
God. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting that you describe that because you you say that the easiest way, probably, I guess, to do it is with an artistic, a visual oh fuck moment.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of games and something like Slay the Spire, like that you can't show it. You have to play it. Like it takes a
Yeah.
deep understanding to get to that moment.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess to sell a game like Slay the Spire when it's so full of these moments, like it just take you got to get people engaged with the game. You have to get them playing it and really invested in them. And then, but once you have them, there's probably no stopping you. Like I guess,
Yeah, it again, some huge fan of Slay the Spire,
mhm.
but look at Slay the Spire 1. It's not a pretty game.
Yeah,
It's just not. It's cohesive, but it's not like a Dead Cells.
hmm
So definitely, what what happens is the chemistry in your mind when you're connecting the pieces.
hmm
It's not like how visually appealing it is,
yeah,
and yeah, and we want to be visually appealing because the market has
hmm
grown. Like when they did it, actually, they I think they created the subgenre.
yeah,
They Slay the Spire like. Like one could say there are roguelike that prior to Slay the Spire, but
hmm
they were the ones that revolutionized the industry.
yeah,
So, dude, they could even do like with stick figures that you'd be successful. But for
yeah,
us morals, we
yeah.
have to do our best.
hmm
So yeah,
hmm Man, yeah, it's really cool. We're kind of going long, so I guess I like to come back to the game and see if we there's anything we missed. One of the things I like to ask is, obviously you've got play testers, you're getting feedback, but and the well, you have an itch version, which is really cool.
yeah,
One of my favorite things, and who I like to interview, is people that are familiar with itch. I, Actually, I want to talk to you a little bit about itch. Because itch, your game is really polished to go on itch. Itch starts with those games where people do it for like a week, and then you get these really polished games like yours that are on itch. I love that platform. One of the
yeah.
things I'll say about it is itch is like it doesn't do you any favors. Like you cannot post your game on itch and expect any players
Yeah.
like at all. Um, is that how you feel? How do you feel about itch? Like why did you guys choose it?
So prior to this, let me tell you that I'm a huge fan of it.
Yeah.
Uh, I am of a very competitive nature, so I take parts in tons of game jams
Mm-hmm.
on HIO, especially.
Cool. Cool.
There in 2022, maybe 23, I do not recall. I did like 12 of them in 1 year. And
Wow.
so yeah, like now we are in the middle of doing this demo. It's the biggest on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
It's the biggest thing that we are going through right now. Like all of us are extremely tired. I think you can see by my face that I'm a little tired myself. And then yesterday, actually the day before yesterday, just to relax, I participated in a game jam by myself on HIO, and I have a game there. By the way, guys, go look it up. It's called Just Dodge.
Cool.
It's a game that you can. The theme is your enemies is your weapon.
Mm.
So I made it so a Vampire Survivor game that you have exploding enemies, and the way you do is that you lure them and then you let them explode and kill the other ones.
Mm.
So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge fan of the platform. And yeah, on that note, Mechborn is not a great match for HIO
Yeah.
because HIO has a clear direction of what is willing to make it in the top, which is horror games, pixel art games, and there is that.
Yeah.
Like if you look what is being recommended HIO, it's horror and pixel arts, 90% of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, which is a little bit of a letdown because I wanted to see more traction there. but nonetheless, you like we got downloads, we got data, we made friends, and it's good. But it's way more oriented for other genres.
Yeah, again, I like it a lot. I haven't participated in a game jam on it, but you get me kind of uh,
Never, never.
excited. No, I'm not a big game jam person. I've done, I think, one like a weekend jam, but
Oh,
I've made several indie games that take a lot longer time. I guess I'm not really like a quick turn out something fast kind of person,
yeah,
but when you mention like the kind of competitive side, to just look at it as like a challenge and see what you can
yeah,
do under pressure and under time, it is fairly interesting. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So.
And it's a little bit weird, right? It's because people usually. I had this colleague. I, his name is João. Hello, João. And he was he's a guy, super talented, and then he was teaching people how to participate in game jams in his channel. And then we used to work together. And one of the things he said, like, you're not there to win. You're there to make friends and to learn. And then I confronted him over a call, like we're doing here, like one on one. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I am trying to win every single time. I want to smash. I want the first position. That's what
Hmm.
I don't want to make friends. If I wanted to make friends, I'd go to Facebook, Instagram. I'm not. I don't want to make friends.
Hmm.
When we laughed about it, but yeah, yeah. Actually, I do not participate in unranked game jams because of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, and of course with all the code help nowadays, GPT and Cloud Code and so on make things easier,
Hmm.
and Git Copilot. Anyhow, so going back to the thing you mentioned, which I don't even remember.
I mean, I was just talking. We were talking about like I haven't joined a game jam. I haven't done one yet.
Oh,
Um,
I was going to say, I remember now. This one that I participated on
mhm.
is called the Mini Jam,
Mm,
and it's amazing. It
yeah.
happens every other weekend,
Mm,
every other Friday,
cool.
and usually has like a 100 entries, and
Mm,
the like very theme. I participated in a bunch of them, very low pressure. So for people that wants to take part, it's a super friendly environment, and if you keep doing them like in a sequence, you start noticing like the patterns of people that are always doing it, like the jammers
interesting.
and their
Interesting.
style. It's very cool. It's very cool. Mini jam.
What can I ask with this particular mini jam? Are you typically building like a WebGL game since it's itch? Like, is that what?
Yes, yes. I have done in the past a 3D game. Nobody plays it. Nobody
Mm,
gives you feedback because they don't have the patience to download it and so on.
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, like if you want, because for me, uh, the rankings is very important. Like listening to the feedback, where I got right, where I got, it's a very important part of the actually it's the most important part of the experience, like getting the feedback from
Yeah.
from people. Yeah.
Yeah. You're actually kind of inspiring me. Like, I've never heard someone
Thank
like
you.
who really looks at it this way. Feedback, challenge, like actually trying to win something. Like, yeah, maybe I'll jump in one. That's
Awesome,
really
awesome,
cool.
awesome, awesome. I'll drop of the gem.
Cool, cool. Um, so yeah, back to again. We're in real wrong, but for anybody that's about to download Mechborn, play it for the first time, based on introduction to the game, is there anything you want to tell say to them to prepare them to kind of get them in the moment?
This game is first of all, it's not made by the team.
Hmm.
We are 23. There was sometimes a little more, less, and of course the publisher helps a lot with the input, but also is made by the community around it. Even though we don't have huge number nowadays, but we have loyal friends that are aiding us. And if you want to be part of that when you play it, and you think you can steer us in how to make the game better, do not be shy about it. We are super open to feedback, of course, and we are very talkative, as you can tell. We are Brazilians, so
Yeah.
just come join the Discord and come to the hangar, as we like to say, and that is that. We know there is a lot of things that needs to come in place because there's a lot of moving parts. But that's the first thing that I want to put it out there. Come and help us make the game better. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, what to expect. If you are a fan of the genre, we are pushing the envelope. I can guarantee that what you are experienced, the way we are doing, nobody has done it before. It's
Yeah.
some areas are extremely unique, and also with which I will not disclose, but we have a mode. Only we did it. At least, of course, I never played every single. The way that we did it, I haven't seen it,
Yeah.
and yeah, and if you are prone to addiction, be aware.
Mm.
We have testers that put it 80 hours in less than 2 weeks.
Wow.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Um, Great. Yeah, I want to say this guy knows an oh fuck moment, and as we talked about before, some of these moments you don't understand until you've actually played the game.
Yeah,
When we're dealing with these card games, that "I got you" moment. I imagine
yeah,
you brought that into the game, and I know
yeah.
what you're talking about too. So yeah, this has been a really insightful talk with Nani about the game Mechborn. If you guys like these videos, make sure to check out some of my other interviews, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This was a true pleasure. And congratulations on giving this to the community. It was a video like yours that had me started in pursuing this. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that means a lot to me.